beautiful, for heroes proved in liberating strife.
Hi, this is Roger Ewing Taylor, Man Across America, traveling around the country, going to all of our national parks in order to get information to put into my books. You can learn more about my books by visiting my websites, rogerewingtaylor.com and lastwhiteferry.com. Today, we are at the site of the Appomattox Court House, where the surrender of the Confederacy was confirmed. This is not the actual courthouse. The actual courthouse burnt down in 1896, but they have reconstructed it as best as possible here on this site. But what a lot of people don't realize is the actual surrender was not signed in this building. It was signed a few yards away. This was the home of Wilmer McLean, just a few yards from Appomattox Court House, and it was in his drawing room that on April 8, 1865, General Robert E. Lee signed the surrender papers for the Confederacy. Interesting story about Wilmer McLean. He was a farmer who lived in a place called Manassas, and in the very first battle of the Civil War, his home there was damaged. Well, he decided he didn't want to stick around there anymore, so he moved here to Appomattox, and it was right here that the surrender was signed. McLean was often happy to say, or known to say, that the war began in his front yard and ended in his drawing room. Let's take a look inside. This is a reconstruction of the room where the surrender took place. Like the courthouse at Appomattox, this is not the original building. The original building was disassembled by some fortune hunters who thought that they could take it to Washington and rebuild it there as a tourist attraction. Well, they ran out of money after disassembling the house, and so it just sat there for years and had to be rebuilt. What we're looking at here is a painting made in, what year was this painting made?
1964.
1964. And it is considered to be the most realistic depiction of what actually happened based upon the records left by soldiers and other witnesses. There were no photographs taken of this moment, but it is here that the Civil War came to an end and a nation began to heal. And at the end of the war, we were left with a bunch of Confederate soldiers who had to go home. And so what they had to do was use a printing press just like this one in order to print out how many approximately of these?
Yes, they made about 28,000 parole passes in a little over 26 hours.
Wow. This nice young lady here printed me up one too, so I can go home as well after the war. It looks like blue line school paper. Is that what they actually used back in those days?
Yes, so they would have used paper that looked just like this, the stuff that we all used to take notes on in school. So it's called fool's cap. That's the name of the paper, and it's the paper that they had handy while they were going to be doing this process. Right,
and were all of the Confederate soldiers pardoned by Grant?
Not all of the Confederate soldiers. Only the Army of Northern Virginia are the ones that are surrendered here at Appomattox. So there is still active fighting down south. Each individual army is going to have to surrender on their own terms.
Well, why didn't they just get on the telephone and tell them? That's a joke, sorry. Okay, so the healing begins, forgiveness is given, and the way to peace is on its way. Unfortunately, in less than a week, President Abraham Lincoln will be assassinated, casting that new peace in doubt. And the story continues from there. Once again, this is Roger Ewing Taylor, Man Across America, and I'll catch you at the next stop.
Beautiful, for heroes proved liberating strife.